Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. So I'm continuing with this series of eminent Arab scientists. So as I have, as I said in my overview, the first and second part, that there are three categories of Muslim scientists: Arab scientists, Persian scientists, and Turk scientists. So I have started with Arab scientists. The last episode was about Ibn Khaldun, and continuing that, today I will talk about Jabir bin Hayyan. So he is called the father of organic chemistry. Now this is his most famous sketch, and you know that there were no photography in those days. So there are only the sketches are available, and these are some other sketches, and yet other sketches. You can note that the his face is not same in any two of these sketches. So we really don't know how actually he looked like. And same is the problem with his life facts. There is a lot of uncertainty about it. His date of birth is said to be 721 AD, but it is just an assumption. Similarly, his year of death is again an assumption, that is 816 AD. But one thing is certain, that he was known commonly as Abu Musa. So as I said, that no authentic records are available regarding his life, but we know that he belonged to a Yemenite tribe of Azd. And we also know for sure that he was a disciple of Shia Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. And here in this sketch, he is in this blue jacket and receiving instructions from Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. And it is also well known that most of his life was spent in Kufa, Iraq, and he was one of the favorites of Harun Rashid, very famous Abbasi caliph. Well, now let us talk about his scientific achievements. So everyone accepted that chemistry in Europe developed on the basis of the findings of Jabir Ibn Hayyan. There is no ambiguity about that. Actually, he revolutionized the field of chemistry, and therefore he is accepted as father of organic chemistry. So he was the first person to describe procedures for deriving an inorganic compound from organic substances, such as plants, blood, and hair, by chemical means. As you all know, that organic substances are those which have carbon atoms in them. They should have carbon atoms in them. And inorganic substances are those which don't have carbon atoms, but minerals, etc., in them. So in a way, the organic substances, they are a sign of life. They are the basis of life. So he is also credited with the oldest known systematic classification of chemical substances. He suggested that the natural elements should be divided into three: spirits, which vaporize on heating; number two, metals, such as gold, silver, lead, and iron; and number three, stones, which can be crushed into powders. All the later classifications, which were much improved, actually were based on this classification. And then he was also one of the earliest known scientists to put forward sulfur mercury theory of metals. So this theory, nowadays it is redundant and we know that it was not correct. But up to 18th century, it was considered to be the streamline theory or dominant theory about metals. So according to this theory, all the metals are made of only two things, sulfur and mercury. And when they are mixed in varying proportions, then different, uh, uh, you can say, metals, they appear. For example, if the ratio is 9 to 1, it may be iron. If ratio is 5 to 6, it may be silver, etc., etc. And he said that in gold there is perfect balance between these two elements. He also developed basic chemical methods using experimentation and study of chemical reactions and their principles. So he was the person who made chemistry a practical scientific discipline. Of course, science cannot exist only in theory. You have to prove it in laboratory. You have to do some experiment to show that what you are saying is true. So he was the person who did that, and it was a great achievement. So he was the person who uh, showed the method for crystallization and also for calcinations. He developed methods for calcinations and methods for sublimation and for evaporation. As you all know that a crystal is a solid material with a repeating pattern of atoms, molecules, or ions. It is a pure form of a substance. And crystallization is the process by which we get these crystals from a liquid, gas, or a solution. Calcination is the process that involves heating a substance to a high temperature in a controlled environment to change its chemical or physical properties. And you know that sublimation is the phase transition that occurs when a solid turns directly into a gas without becoming a liquid first. Whereas in case of evaporation, a liquid turns into gaseous form. So he also developed the methods for synthesis of acids and especially the distillation. And he made a great invention that is called alembic or unback and for distillation. Here you can see, you know that different substances change into gaseous phase from liquid phase at different temperatures. So when you heat a mixture of these substances, some will vaporize first. So you can collect that and cool those vapors to get that pure substance. After that, When you increase the temperature, second substance will vaporize and you can cool it and separate it. In this way, you can get purified substances from a mixture of substances which are otherwise impossible to separate from each other. So this is called one of his greatest inventions. His other achievements included preparation of various metals, how to prepare them, and he developed steel. I mean, even I was surprised to know that he was the person who invented steel. Then dyeing of cloth, how to dye a cloth, give different colors to a cloth. This is again a great achievement. And he was also the pioneer of tanning of leather. I mean, it is so amazing that a single person had so much ability and had so much achievements. Then it doesn't end here. He also uh, found methods for varnishing of waterproof cloth, and he used manganese oxide in glass making to improve its quality. And he found methods to prevent rusting. And he was also the person who developed paints and greases. And it doesn't end over here. He also developed aqua regia to dissolve gold. It has, as you can see, that it is a mixture of nitric acid and hydrochloric acid. 1 part nitric acid, 3 parts hydrochloric acid. It is also called king's water, and it is not only used for dissolving gold, but also platinum, uh, uh, palladium, and other precious metals can also be dissolved in it. So that was about his scientific achievements, which are so diverse and so amazing. And naturally, the amount of work coming out, written work coming out of these inventions is also enormous. And there are about 600 papers written by him. And they are collectively called our Jabarian corpus. And about 215 of these are still existing. And most important of his works is the great book on specific properties. However, his first book was the great book of mercy, that is Kitab al-Rahma al-Kabir. So these are different references which I used for preparation of this vlog. Our next episode will be about Ibn Nafis. He was the person who described the blood circulation for the first time. Although in the West it is credited to Harvey, but that was 600 years after Ibn Nafis. And now, even there, it is admitted that Ibn Nafis was the first person to describe it. So, these are my contacts. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you liked this vlog.